Hello and welcome to the Record Club, brought to you by Record Store Day, the official charts, and National Album Day, and proudly in association with Bowers Wilkins. My name is Jess Izzat. Thank you so much for joining us. We are very excited to say that our guest this evening is Lauren Mayberry to talk all about her brand new album, Vicious Creature. If you've not hung out with us here before, we're going to be spending the next half an hour or so talking to Lauren about the brilliant new record, and then we're going to be putting forward some of your questions about the album for her to answer. So if you want to get involved, drop us a question in the comments section below, and I'm going to be asking a selection of them in the second half of our chats. On top of that, one lucky person who sends in a question today is going to be randomly selected to win a pair of Bowers Wilkins PX7 Season 2 over-ear noise cancelling headphones. Don't miss out. I've got a pair myself, and the album was sounding lush in them. So yeah, get stuck in. If you haven't already got yourself a physical copy of the album, of course, we thoroughly recommend you order one from your local record store once our chat is over. But first, let's get straight into this week's Record Club and say a big hello to Lauren Mayberry. Welcome.
Hello, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yes, I was frantically running across London to get to Wi-Fi in time for this chat, so thank you for having me.
Yeah, I was going to say, whereabouts in the world are you? Are you record storing at the minute?
We are, yes. So we're doing Rough Trade East tonight, and I was
Okay.
in there, and turns out it's too noisy to do a call like this in there. So we were like, we have to pivot the plan because they're playing great records in the shop, which is lovely for them, but not good for us right now. So
No, wow, that is very thoughtful.
yes.
Thank you. Well, each week on the Record Club, we like to kick things off with a question from one of the many amazing independent record stores in the UK. And this week it comes from Ben at Turn It Up Records. Not sure where in the UK that is. Get involved if you know. Let us know. Ben's asking, when touring, what is your go-to comfort item that you always bring with you?
Oh, I always bring a hot water bottle with me because it's very comforting, it's very cozy. A tour bus can be really cold, a van can be really cold, and in the morning I like to, this is really lame, but I like to fill up my flask with tea and fill up my hot water bottle, and then I get in the van, and it just makes the day a lot cozier, I would say.
Yeah, this is proper cozy season vibes. I like that.
Yes, and you'd always get cold feet in the van all the time. It doesn't matter what van you're in, how much clothing you have on, always cold feet. So having a little hotty wotty bot helps, I think.
Oh my God, yeah. I think summer, I love always wearing socks. I'm a socks in bed gal, don't at me. And I remember when I had like a mini hot water bottle that used to just go up my feet as well.
Nice. I mean, it's one of life's simple joys, a hot water bottle, I would say.
Hmm. I agree. Well, let's get into the music. Congrats on your debut solo album. How
Thank you.
does how does that feel?
It feels pretty fresh still. So this is like week one. It's only been out for what, 6 days? 5 days? 6 days?
Mhm.
So yeah, it feels weird to have lived with it on and off for like 2 years. And now it's out and about. And doing these in stores has been really fun, but quite surreal to see people holding copies of the record. I'm like, oh, it's not just a PDF. Like the cover exists in real life. But no, it's been really fun. It's been a really good week and really nice to get to go around the stores and see people face to face. It's been cool.
Yeah, have you been able to like chat with people about everything to do with the record? Like, I feel people like to share their stories about which one means the most to them.
Yeah, it's been really nice. And I guess Church is the band I'm in. We haven't done these kind of in stores for quite a while. And I didn't realize that I was missing it until we were doing it. And I just feel like talking to actual human beings about music is one of my favorite things about making music. So it's been very nice. But I'm a crier and there's quite a lot of emotional things being said at these things. So I can't cry at people. I have to just be like, and then cry about it afterwards.
I was gonna say maybe you can just let the tears out, but then people might find that a bit
Yeah, if
overwhelming.
they're telling me this, very personal, sad thing that's happened to them, I can't be like, oh no, when it's happening. I have to just listen and hold space, as the parlance goes.
Mm, mm. Talk to me about the album title, Vicious Creature. At what point did this become the title of the record?
Ooh, I think maybe about a year, a year, 10 months before the before it was finished. So it comes from a lyric in a song called A Work of Fiction. And I wanted to call the record that for a long time. But then we were like, wait, Vicious Creature is more dramatic and more evocative, I think. And yeah, the lyric is nostalgia is such a vicious creature, another way to say that you fear the future. So I like what it means, but also I like when you take it out of context. My face, all silver with a big crown on, saying vicious creature underneath, feels quite dramatic. And I love a bit of theatrical drama.
Yeah, no, it feels powerful. It's definitely like really putting yourself out there.
Thank you. Yeah, and I feel like it's not like I don't think I have a performance alter ego necessarily, but it's definitely different than my normal self. More, I don't know, takes less shit than real me. I love to take shit in real life. So,
Oh, has there been a surprising fan favorite from the record since its release?
ooh, I think the two songs, other than the ones I thought people would connect with, the two songs people have spoken about are Oh Mother and Anywhere But Dancing, which are kind of the two out of the three slow songs on the record. I was like, turns out people just wanted sad ballads from me. I spent all these years making like electro pop, and everyone's like, but that one was very sad. So, and that was nice to me because those felt like more emotional, vulnerable ones to write. So when people connect with that, it makes you feel like you did a good job.
Yeah, I've written down "Oh Mother" as one of my tops, as always. So when you're listening to a record, you always have many different ones that you connect with. But I wondered about, track listing and your view on that, and listening to a record like from start to finish in order. How do you feel about that?
I'm still quite a stickler for the track listing. I hate it when I've accidentally left things on shuffle and then things are not it's not the correct way. But I do think it's like making somebody a mixtape or like a playlist of something. There should be an ebb and flow and a story to it.
Mm.
So I'm always quite respectful of other people's track lists. And yeah, I had like 4 or 5 different running orders for the record in my computer, and I would just like listen to them through and see. And I still kind of think about it as a side A, side B kind of thing. I'm like, it should make sense in that format first and foremost, and then you can bring it back across everything else.
Yeah, because when I was listening through those, you've got like across three tracks between Oh Mother, Sorry, etc., and Change Shapes. There's just like all
Yes.
different energies, but it does flow. But like Oh Mother is like this emotional, like low key, like it's like got the piano, and then you've got this punky, more angry, Sorry, etc. And then yeah, Change Shapes with this pure pop, and the one that we've like been hearing quite a lot. Yeah, all these different energies from you.
Yeah, I feel like that was fun for me when I started to hone in on what was going to make it on the record. At first, I was quite, I don't know, I think I was being more conscious of genre and being like, well, what genre is the record going to be? What's it? And then as I was writing more, I was like, I don't know if you have to think about it like that. I think you should just follow your gut and write what feels correct for you to write, especially for a first record, for a debut record. I feel like it is just about exploring lots of different things and seeing what resonates with you. So, yes, I think the side A to side B contrast maybe is a bit stressful for some people, but I quite like that you sat in this song that is quite heavy in a lot of ways, and then you've just got to into the into the next side because you've got to get on with it.
Of course, yeah. What song went from the biggest change from start to finish, like from demo to finished record?
Ooh, I think Change Shapes did go have a bit of a makeover. The first version of that was uh quite different, and then Matthew Coma, who produced the track, came in and kind of gave it a little stuck in the middle with you kind of overhaul. And yeah, we knew we wanted it to be like the kind of most sugary poppy song on the record, but the production didn't feel like it was working with that, so we kind of did have to take it down to the studs and start again.
Mm. Um, is there a tune that almost didn't make it onto the album?
I think the only one that we were like, oh, I don't know if we should, was Are You Awake, which was the first single that came out, because we were like, oh, it's been out for quite a long time, and maybe it's nice for people to have more new songs than songs that exist already. But then I was like, is that quite mental to have your first single not even be on your first record? That seems like a strange choice. And I think churches have a history of making odd choices like that. Like the first album title is from a song that we didn't put on the album. And I'm like, things like that. We've got to stop doing things like that. So I was like, no, learn from this and just put the song on the album.
That's so funny. I can imagine there'd be like loads of Reddit streams on like, why has this happened and why is this track not on there?
Yes, everyone be
Uh,
confused.
no, I always feel like that's an interesting one because I feel like when people listen to the album now, maybe they'll like savor it a bit more because it's made it onto the record. Is there something on here that you can tell us maybe about the recording of the album or maybe something that happened that we might not hear on a first listen, like maybe something, a sound that we can listen out for or something that slipped in there?
Ooh, well, last week on my socials, I posted a compilation of me trying to record a scream, which is in a song called Punch Drunk, but it kind of sounds like a mad reverb guitar almost. So it's before the last chorus. It goes, it makes me sick and I hope it never ends. And then the kind of like sound is actually me screaming. But I'm not a natural, I'm quite a quiet person probably in real life. So me and my friend Dan, who I made it with, were just pissing ourselves laughing at me trying to do a very like guttural, scary scream into a microphone because it kept just coming out like and it didn't. So we had to do quite a lot to get the that we needed. But I like that it's in there, and I'm like, it'd be fun to do something with that in a live show. But yeah, I don't know if you hear it on the first listen. So
I like that you really went for that because I feel like it kind of goes with the idea that you've decided to call this album Vicious Creature and then you've decided that you're gonna like put yourself out there even if naturally a scream, like a guttering scream wouldn't come from you.
yeah,
It's like pushing yourself out there in like a few different ways and I feel like we're seeing the most of you with this.
thank you. That's very nice. I don't know what's wrong with me. So like, I'm like really not like the most natural front person or performer in a lot of ways, but then I kind of feel like it's almost like I like planning something out and being like, oh, that'd be cool if that person did that and if that person did that, and then I remember that that person is me and I have to go do this now. But yeah, and I think it's just fun to do different things. Like there's more kind of like sung spoken wordy stuff and whispers and things on this record, and it was just really fun to try and use my voice in different ways. So it's a good challenge, I think.
Yeah, no, I love it. I feel like it's like you're learning with it, and people are also sort of seeing and hearing different versions of you. I've also, oh, I can see a couple of questions coming in as well. Let's make sure I don't ask your questions. Make sure to get your questions in to us. I'm going to be coming to those in just a moment. I've noticed that you've done quite a few visuals for the album. Like shoots, music videos, like so much. I feel like you're really showing yourself again, like in lots of different ways. And I saw some behind the scenes on your TikTok as well. What's been your favorite shoot or visual that people should check out?
Oh, well, I have to give all the credit to the creative director of the record, Pippa Alice. Like she is such an amazing creator, such an amazing artist. She's got amazing taste. So I present her with like a Pinterest mood board, and she's like, "Yep, I know exactly who we should do that with and where we should do it." And it's been really fun to have just have more fun with that aspect of things. And I've definitely been guilty of the, oh, we've got to get press shots for the album. Let's all just stand in a line and look miserable. Which, there's just, I don't think a lot of the time in bands, we're not used to doing those things. We're not meant to do that. We're supposed to be in a windowless room making tunes. So yeah, it's been fun to think more about how does that link in with the stories. And um I guess what my favorite one, we did a shoot at the Gore Hotel in London, and I don't know if we were supposed to be doing it. I just booked the nice room, and then in that one day, we got three single covers, three music videos, and we just did it in different parts of the hotel. And when somebody would come past, we'd be like, "Oh, camera down," and then we keep going, and we go again. But yeah, it's fun to play with that stuff, and it's I don't know. So much of this process for me was trying to like find like a playfulness in my creativity, which I think I'd lost a little bit of just because I was becoming an old curmudgeon. So I think it's been nice. It's been nice to kind of reconnect to that like childlike part of your creativity, I guess.
No, I feel like you're definitely showing that. It's like it feels fun. Yeah, like I said, I think the behind the scenes, I think that was the one that I'd seen, and you're in a really cool hotel room. You had all these different outfits, and I was just like, it looks fun. It looks like exactly what you'd want to be doing, just like messing around and getting some good shots, and obviously, yeah, smashed it with the content as well. I did read a comment as well, and obviously I can't take credit for it because someone else said it, but I was like, I love it. They said something in the air was like Phil Collins meets Avril Lavigne,
Oh,
and
hmm.
firstly, obsessed in very different ways with these two
With
different
both of,
artists.
yeah, a
Um,
hybrid we would never have considered.
no, I didn't think. I mean, it's not impossible, but maybe this is what you've served. But I just wondered how you feel about like comments like that and people bringing references, like random, like Phil Collins is Disney vibes, isn't he? But
I
like
mean,
that's like in the
man knows
best
his,
way.
yeah, and he knows his way around an iconic drum fill, you know? But yeah, I don't know. It's really fun having the record out now and people saying things like this. Or they're like, somebody said that Punch Drunk, the ba ba backing vocal reminded them of Fashion by David Bowie. And I was like, that's a lovely compliment to give to me. I didn't know that I was channeling that, but maybe your subconscious is thinking about it. So I was like, there you go. It's really nice to, I don't know, to finally share it with other human beings rather than like 5 people who have heard it for the last 18 months.
Yeah, it's like all these nostalgic references, but you've like it's fresh. So
Oh,
that's
thank you.
cool, yeah. Right, so we do have some questions coming in. Amber on the Record Club's Twitter or X
Mm.
says, if there was one thing you want people to take away from the album, what would that be?
Oh, um, I hope it sounds like I had fun making it because I did have fun making it. And I think it did feel like playing dress up, like musically and aesthetically. It's just like it felt fun to just dig into the box and see what was in there. And it feels quite freeing to me when I listen to it. When I was making it, I was like, oh, it feels like, I don't know, a boost, like I don't know, just a injection of fresh air, I think.
Mm. Hello to Dean on the Record Club's Facebook, who says, hi, Jess and Lauren. Any apprehensions about going solo on this album? If so, how did you deal with them?
Um, I mean, there was definitely, I think it was a process because it's, as much as it's a lot to ask people to get used to the idea of, I think it took me a minute to get used to the idea of it too. Like when I started writing, I didn't even think I was going to release the stuff really. It was more just like I felt like I needed to make something. And I was like, I'll just make it to get it out the way and then I'll put it in a box and nobody will ever see it. And um yeah, I think when things are going well, I was like, oh, this is so fun and thrilling and exciting. And then when it's not going well, I'm like, this is a terrible idea. I can't do this. Oh, so I think it was just there was a lot of learning and getting my 10,000 hours. But um yeah, and it was the same like that for the band when we were learning to do things. And I do think the best thing you can do creatively is always push yourself to be a little bit out of your comfort zone. And if you get too comfortable, you're just going to make the same stuff over and over again. But sometimes doing that is quite unpleasant. You're like, I don't want to, I just want to go back to bed. I don't want to do it. But I think I am quite good at pushing myself when I get a bit blocked. So here we are. We made it. So
Congrats. And yeah,
woo.
obviously the range of emotions I can imagine goes through most albums, to be fair. We have a Jess on Official Charts Facebook saying, is there a track on the album that holds a special place for you?
Ooh. Um, Let me see. I think Oh Mother is probably one of the most personal ones I've written, and I've never written a song that kind of had that kind of narrative or that kind of chronological thing in it. So that one's quite special to me. And uh, Sunday Best, I think, is one that means a lot to me because I made it with Greg Kirsten, who worked on the third Churches album. So it was really nice to reconnect with somebody who's always been so encouraging and kind to me and make something totally different than what we made with Churches. So I don't know, I'm quite nostalgic and sentimental about when I meet people that are important to me. I like to keep them close. So I was really glad that he could be a part of the record as well.
For sure. Thanks, guys, for your questions. I have one more before we let you go. So I noticed that you said about the album, obviously, as it came out, you mentioned that the experience means more to you than you can ever really know, and you're probably going to cry about it a lot.
Did you
Can
then?
you paint a bit of a picture about this for us and like what you mean about it as a whole to finish?
I guess I just never thought, even like 2.5 years ago, I would never have thought that I would make a solo album. I never thought I would do anything outside the band. And then when I knew that I wanted to, I didn't know if I could. It just seemed really unrealistic. And the fact that, people who like the band have been so generous to it and so open to it, this means a lot. And um, yeah, I think I've spent a lot of my time just having to toughen up in life and be like, oh, don't look upset about it, don't cry about it, cry quietly in the toilet afterwards when people leave. And now I've just accepted I'm just a very emotional person. I used to cry when something was sad, and now I cry when I'm sad, when I'm happy, when I'm moved. Turns out I'm just a weepy person. So when somebody does something nice, like is kind about the album, I'm like, oh, thank you, that's so nice. So yeah, I don't know, I'm just moved, chronically moved, I guess.
I enjoy that. I always say that I'm quite an emotional person, even if there's like an emotional song going on in like an advert or like, I don't know,
Yes,
like at the end of a sports event or something.
I'm crying
It's
about
just
the sports. I'm crying about anything. Like sometimes if I see a nice interaction happen, like I cried in the queue in a pub the other day because there was a girl in front of me and her friend came in and she was like, "Oh, you look amazing!" And then they were like, "Being, I'm getting misty about it now."
it's
And
gonna
then I was
make me
like,
emotional.
"Oh, the power of women and girls!" And I was like, "It's just none of my business. They're just trying to have their nice night out." And I'm crying at them, being like, "Hold on to that, because it's so important." And I've just become like that somebody's auntie that's just like weepy all the time.
Oh God. It's good. It's funny. Yeah, I'm like this as well. Like I can't look at people who are sat eating on their own. Yeah, just everything.
Yeah, but that's why we work in
Everything.
the arts, because we feel the feelings, you know? You gotta
100%.
gotta do it.
Well, that is all we have time for today. We've obviously loved having Lauren Mayberry joining us on the show. Make sure to treat yourself to a physical copy of Vicious Creature now that the episode is over. Pick one up from your local record store, support your local. Also, excited to announce that the winner of this week's wireless headphones prize from Bowers Wilkins is Dean on the Record Club's Facebook page. Please slide into the Record Club's DMs. We'll get those headphones to you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us and sending in your questions. My name is Jess Izzat. This and all previous episodes are available to watch back on Spotify or YouTube. Lauren Mayberry, thank you so much for joining
No,
us.
thank you for having me, Jess.